So the first tool that you're going to need in your toolkit is going to be an email marketing tool. Now I want to take it one step further and potentially introduce you to an email marketing tool and a more comprehensive marketing automation tool. So I'm going to give you a few options right now, my favorites out there, and then I'm going to lead you towards one, which I think is going to be right for you depending on price points and experience, level of business, and all that kind of stuff. So the first one is MailChimp. Now MailChimp is probably my favorite of the low end. This is the real low end of email autoresponders. So these guys just do email marketing. Now, when I say low end, they're super cheap. Now, don't get the free version. It doesn't really do anything. You've got to at least get the version that now at the time of this filming is $15 a month. It's like the third version up. And it's really obviously affordable. You know, just don't have 3 coffees a month and you've paid for it. So it's a no-brainer in terms of cost. And because it's very basic and limited, it's quite quick to set up. It's very easy and straightforward to set up because there's not a whole heap that you can actually do inside, which is still okay. Now, features-wise, it's got a very basic CRM. Remember, when you've got an email marketing tool, it's got 2 components to it. Now, one is the CRM and the other is the actual email automation that lies within it. So your CRM, which means your customer relationship management tool. So that's a tool that allows you to store all of the contacts details, you know, like first name, last name, email, phone, address, dog's name, birthday, whatever it is that you need to capture in your business, you know, company name, website, all that kind of stuff. So it's basically a glorified spreadsheet, a glorified Rolodex up in the cloud in your system. Now that alone is fine. That's organized, that's great. That alone though won't make you money. You also need an email automation part to it that actually talks to the people in the CRM. So it has both of those elements to it, but it's pretty simple in MailChimp. It's a very, very simple CRM and it's a very simple email automation tool. It's like, here's an email, send it 3 days after they join the welcome nurture. Here's another email, send it 5 minutes after they request a checklist, right? You know, it's very simple and quite straightforward, which means it's very easy to set up. Now, the pro of this is that it's great for startup businesses because you can just get the bare minimum, the bare bones. Yeah, it doesn't let you automate everything, but it lets you start with the basics. And hey, I'm going to guess that email marketing in your business right now, if you're not automated, it's a pretty time-consuming part of your business, or at least it should be. Now, the downside of this particular program is that you will outgrow it. Your business is still going to be quite manual and you're going to outgrow it at a pretty early stage. So when you get either, 1 or 2 team members on, you're probably going to have outgrown MailChimp. Once you get to an email database size of a couple thousand, you probably have outgrown it. And once you're starting to want to really automate, particularly payments in your business and streamlining the onboarding of your new customers, you will have outgrown MailChimp. Now, it's a more limited tool, but it's great if budget is crazy tight and there are just no other options for you. Then at least MailChimp will help you to get started in automating your emails. Now, my second recommendation in an email marketing tool is Keep, which is formerly known as Infusionsoft. Now, I want to do a bit of a disclaimer right now. There's a little bit going on right now with Infusionsoft at the time of this filming. Keep has launched and it's launched a little while ago, and there are different versions popping up left, right, and center. So there's a few different versions of this tool. Now within Keep, there's Keep Lite, Keep Pro, Keep Max, and then there's one called Keep Max Classic, which is the tool formerly known as Infusionsoft. Now, I highly recommend the traditional, original version that everybody still uses and that will be here to the end of time, which is now known as Keep Max Classic, formerly known as Infusionsoft. Now, Grace started on Infusionsoft in late 2012. She decided out of all the tools that she tested that it was the best. She flew over to America, she did a 2-week training, sat exams, passed with 97%. We love Infusionsoft, and there's a reason why we still choose it above every other tool, even to this day. Price-wise though, Infusionsoft is on the other end of the scale. In comparison to MailChimp, Infusionsoft, you're looking at somewhere between $200 to $300 a month, depending on the version that you want. Here's the thing though, yes, $200 to $300 a month sounds like a lot of money. And for you right now, it might be, 100%. It was for Grace when she first started. But we're looking at the cost savings here, right? Now, the physical financial cost savings. Grace tells this story of a woman that attended one of her doing days who was running a gym, super, super excited and launching like an online health and nutrition and fitness coaching business. Now, she came up to Grace, who had just been talking about Infusionsoft, and she was like, oh my goodness, Grace. Oh my goodness, I put Infusionsoft in place because I'd heard you loved it and I followed the steps and it's completely transformed my business. And you'll never believe it. I made 2 of my staff redundant. And Grace was like, wait, what? This does not sound good. And she was like, no. I was able to remove 2 people from our business who were in more of an admin role that were literally doing stuff that I knew that a system could do. And those 2 people for her were costing her 60 grand each a year. So she saved $120,000 in staff costs for the sake of $200 to $300 a month. That's the kind of cost savings that you can have. You will actually be able to remove people from your payroll that don't really need to be in there. And as a female entrepreneur, particularly in smaller businesses, we cannot have staff that don't need to be there. We've got to keep those costs tight. Now, in terms of ease, there is a bit of a steep learning curve because you can pretty much automate everything in Infusionsoft. So anything you're currently doing in your business, I'm going to say that around 90% of that can be automated in Infusionsoft. It's like a blank canvas and you choose how you want to use it, but it is still quite user-friendly. So even though there's a bit of a steep learning curve, once you kind of get the hang of it, it's very user-friendly. It's very drag and drop kind of builder. You know, a lot of the tools out there that are its competitors are quite techy, whereas Infusionsoft is very much for people that don't know code, you know, like me, who can drag and drop stuff around and figure it out. So Infusionsoft, or Keep Max Classic, basically does everything. It's been around forever. It's the leader in its field and they're growing really fast. They've invested a lot. It's the best in our opinion. It does everything. It integrates with everything as well. So you're never gonna outgrow it. As you know, we're running more than 50,000 customers through it. We've got 15 to 20 different programs at all different price points that we're selling through it. We've got email lists of over 300,000 people and it's managing it all beautifully. The cons is the price, obviously, and the learning curve. If you're gonna take advantage of Infusionsoft, you've gotta be ready to roll up your sleeves or get your doer to and embrace it. And if you do, you're gonna fall in love with it. And you'll get the time savings that we've had in business and life, and the cost savings, obviously, of having a super small team. Now, finally, we've got Active Campaign. Now, we've added this one in more recently because it kind of sits somewhere in between. If you're not ready for the level of Infusionsoft, it's a great way to kind of dip your toe in the water. Now, price-wise, you're looking somewhere between $20 and $200. You know, somewhere between that mark. It's $20 for the basic version if you've got a small email list, but the more emails that you get and the more features that you want, the more the price goes up. But you really can start with a limited version of it and it is better than MailChimp, but not as good as Infusionsoft. You get what you pay for, like everything in life, right? So it's very easy to use, which I love. Feature-wise, it's got some quite simple automation campaigns, so it's not Infusionsoft level, it's quite simple, but it's much better than MailChimp. Now you can still get a lot more happening, and pro-wise, we've found that its deliverability rates in Active Campaign are really good at the moment, better than most. So when it comes to the cons, we found that it's really limited in terms of payment automation. They have this API, but it's just a little bit sticky, and most first-timers to automation will find that a little bit tricky. And the other integrations don't work quite as well with Active Campaign. But most of the other ones, it does. Like email, it does really well with CRM, it does really well. And connecting with landing pages and things like that, all really well. So the basics are definitely there, it's just not quite at that Infusionsoft level. So there you have it. Those are your 3 autoresponders. Maybe you've got MailChimp, that more startup space. Maybe you've got Infusionsoft if you want to get the tool that we've got, that you know you're never going to outgrow and you're just going to embrace it now. We got into this really early on because Grace was like, you know what, I'm going to make it work because I need a life. Then your third option is Active Campaign, which is somewhere in between. So from here, I want to invite you to make a decision. Let's decide which one's right for you and your business right now, and I'll see you in the next video.